So we're in a bit of a weird time right now. We're seeing artificial intelligence replace personal brands in real time. Now the question is, are we cooked? Because what you can see here, I've got up on screen, is a company called Avatar Labs. And they've recently developed a software or an AI technology where in which they'll go out, they'll film with a client, different angles, body language, tone of voice, all that sort of stuff. And they will basically clone you. And this isn't the type of AI where you can see the discrepancies in the way the mouth moves and sounds and all that sort of stuff. Like, it really looks like AI. And on the examples of our website, obviously I won't showcase it here, but you can go onto Avatar Labs website. You've got the Instagram here. You can go on that website and you can see the real versus the AI examples, and it is extremely hard to tell the difference. So I thought I'd make a video about this because I also have some other things that contribute to this whole shift that is going on right now. And we're going to be covering a lot. So I'm going to break down or be going through some of the evidence on how AI is genuinely competing with real creators and coaches. I'm also going to be touching base on the main threats and why most coaches are becoming replaceable. And lastly, I'm going to be talking about the steps for becoming non-replaceable and how to future-proof your business/brand. I'll also touch base as a little bonus on what I believe to be a trust recession that we're currently in, and how to adapt, stay relevant, and attract more clients than ever before. Because amongst the fear, amongst the different times that we're in, there is there's opportunity. So you're either going to be on one side of it or the other. And I'm basically going to break down both of those sides, give you a bit more knowledge and maybe shift your perspective on how to use AI, how it's currently being used to give you a bit of an edge, when you compare yourself to just the amount of people that are using it, right? Because I genuinely think it is going to make or break the coaching industry, and the people who do kind of action things I'm going to talk about in this video are going to have an edge against the rest, right? So why do you need to pay attention to this? Why do you need to pay attention to the fact that AI is getting very advanced, more advanced than we can even keep up with, right? The technology is accelerating, like the depth and intelligence of the technology is accelerating at such a pace that there are being new innovations on a day-to-day basis that people can't even keep up with, right? So one of the reasons why you need to pay attention is some coaches are actually automating their delivery. So you've got John White in here. If you've been in the coaching industry for a while, you probably know who this guy is. He launched the other day, and I see this on my Instagram. I had to take a screenshot, right? 2 days ago, he made a post. It says, I made an AI clone of myself. It's fully trained on over half a decade of my material that's made lots of online business owners way more successful. And tomorrow I'm going to be opening access to the public. That's all for now. Let me know if you want to be notified. He then went to post feedback of the first adopters who actually use this technology, and they're saying it's exactly like him. So when you take a coach, right, who has been in the industry for decades of content, decades of blog posts, decades of short form, long form, Zoom recordings, natural Q&As, like every piece of material you can imagine, you put that into an AI, algorithm, whatever you want to call it, that then learns who this person is, how they talk, their tone of voice, their beliefs, their paradigms, their messaging, their body language, this, and you use all of this and you put it into an AI tool that we don't even know how smart this thing is going to get. Truly, we don't understand the depth and the length of how intelligent AI is going to get. So you do this, you package it into what he's done here, and he's turned it into a coach where you can get on and you can talk to him. Similar to what you can do with ChatGPT, right? I often use it quite a lot if I prefer to have more of like a conversational type prompt where I'm actually talking voice memo to ChatGPT, OpenAI, and sometimes it's helpful. Well, now this guy's packaged it into something that he can actually deliver, something that can help his clients. That is pretty much him. Okay, this is one reason why you need to pay attention, right? Next is content creation, delivering assets that is acquiring traffic, right? So like I said, with the Avatar Labs guys, what they've done is essentially developed an AI software or AI intelligence that is basically enabling you to clone yourself, your body language, your exact likeness, the the way you speak, the words that you say and the way that you say it. And it's just, to me, it's absolutely crazy, because we've all known that you can create, AI generated UGC, and it can look pretty similar, but to the trained eye, we can sort of notice certain discrepancies. It's getting to a point where you can't. It's getting to a point where you can't tell the difference, and you guys need to pay attention to this, right? And it's also automating conversations. You can now build artificial intelligence chatbots. So similar to what John did here, he could very well turn this technology and this knowledge database into a chatbot instead of it being voice related. And he could plug this in to his Instagram DMs, to his Facebook DMs, to whatever he wants, to his emails, with AI, with the use of AI agents and back-end automations and stuff. So, there's a lot going on, and it's happening at such a fast pace that not many people kind of see it happening and think, okay, I need to act now, or I need to think about this like seriously, because it's happening so fast and it's not a gradual thing. So let's talk about this, right? AI personal brands are making a killing. You've probably seen at least one of these 4 creators that are getting brand deals, model photo shoots, and all this sort of stuff. And they're making tens of thousands of dollars a month, and they don't even exist. Like, how crazy is that? Now, there are obviously benefits in certain aspects when it comes to fashion photography and all this sort of stuff to use AI. It's less production. The model doesn't get tired. You can get the perfect shot. You can refine it to get the perfect shot. There are obviously some discrepancies with the way certain fashion items fit and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, there are now virtual people, AI brands that are out there getting brand deals and ultimately taking potential opportunities or market share away from real people. And this is really only the start, right? I remember this individual, Aitana, I don't know how to pronounce that name, was kind of the first mover on this. And then obviously we now have, these individuals who are, I say individuals like they're people, but we have these brands that are now doing the same thing, right? Now, this is obviously a different type of personal brand to the one I'm specifically referring to in this video. We're talking about the coaching industry. And I believe that for many, the coaching industry is at risk. Everyone's brand is starting to sound the same. So the problem that you see in today's world is that people are over relying on ChatGPT. So they use it for everything. Their hooks, their scripts, their ICPs, their, content ideas, conversation, the way that they form conversations and stuff like that. And the reason why that's dangerous is because everyone's going to the same source for the same ideas. Everything starts to sound a little similar, and you start to remove the authenticity and genuine experience in that field away from what you do. And the reason why people buy from you is because of your experience, because of your personality, because of your unique way that you package things. And you start to remove the personal, unique elements of it when you rely heavily on AI. Now, secondly, you're not the product anymore, the tool is. So when you rely so heavily on artificial intelligence and you build everything around artificial intelligence, you're essentially using a publicly accessible tool to create what you've built. Now, there are obviously some people that will notice that. And I mean, I won't go into this in depth, but it just reminded me, like, Iman Gadzhi recently launched an AI product, and some guy exposed him because he's basically showing that, like, this product is built with ChatGPT. So, like, people will start to realize that what you're building could have been built or has been built using a software they could have built it with. So you're no longer the product anymore. The tool is. So the shift from working with you will go from working with you to just building something with the tool. Now, thirdly, the illusion of value is collapsing. You can ask right now ChatGPT any question and it will deliver an answer, which is pretty decent at times, right? Obviously, there are some nuances and certain stuff with industry-specific knowledge and experience, and I don't know how advanced it's going to get, and I don't know if it will ever be able to replace that. But the point is, the illusion of value is collapsing. It's so easy to obtain a certain answer or value, and a lot of people create this value, create their content, their scripts, their ideas based off of AI or with the help of AI. So it's hard to know if it's unique value from this individual, from this coach, or if it's just regurgitated value, which majority of the stuff you see out there is, right? Now, fourth is we're feeling the effects of market maturity. And this hasn't just been since the development of AI. Market maturity has been a thing now, I would say, in the online space, at least for probably the past 3 years, really at its peak. Like, people understand, back in the day, we're talking, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago, maybe 7, the online space and online coaching and stuff was a relatively new concept, right? And you could have a guy that would go out, rent a Lambo, rent a watch, post some pictures, send a link to his course, people go buy it, no questions asked. People are starting to catch on now. They're getting numb to certain offers, the way that things are said, the certain funnels. Like, people understand, if they've got some skin in the game, what a typical customer journey looks like. And when you start doing the same thing over a set period of time, ad costs rise, booking a call costs rise, and everything starts to get a little bit more difficult or a little bit more challenging because there are so many people doing the same thing. Now, the reason why market maturity comes into place with regards to talking about AI is because we're kind of accelerating that. We're accelerating that process with regards to increasing skepticism, because it's really hard to know if someone's saying something from experience, from something that they've actually learned, from a topic they really deeply understand, or if it's something they're reading from a script, if it's something they typed into AI and learned a few moments before the video, or whatever it may be. So there's a lot going on at play here, and we are going through, in my opinion, a trust recession. It's becoming harder to understand who the real actors are and who the fakes are, who the people that are in it just for a quick buck. Because the thing with AI is you can make a quick buck, you can do things faster, you can accelerate your growth, but it comes at a cost. And I'm going to break that down. So I actually think in the midst of all this, there is a massive opportunity for the ones that adapt, right? Your unique personality is going to become more important than ever. I think that the more we shift into the age of AI and the more things start to get automated and sound samey, what you bring to the table as a unique individual, as a unique personality, is going to become more and more valuable as we lead on. I also think that your unique experiences become more important, because I don't understand the depths of AI and what it's going to develop into, right? But there are things that you have done that AI simply hasn't. Personal, relatable, real life experiences that you can leverage to sound and be a human. Okay? Now, thirdly is your unique skill set also becomes more important. There's a difference between a coach going out there, creating their ICP, their strategy, their methodology, their content scripts, sales scripts, content ideas, whatever it may be. There's a difference between that type of coach, the lazy coach who relies heavily on AI and uses it as a crutch and not more of a creative assistant. There's a difference between that person and a person who has an actual deep understanding of the field that they're in. They've gone through, they've done the work, they've experienced it firsthand over and over again, and they don't rely on AI, or they don't use it as a replacement for their own brain. So unique skill sets are going to become more important. The people who have actually been in the trenches are going to stand out against those who have just built a business on the back of AI. And I think that real content is obviously going to become more valuable, because there is going to be an increased crave for personal connections. You think when we, I don't think we're there right now, but we don't know how long it's going to be. But you think when 30 to 50% of the material content and people that you see on Instagram, on social media, YouTube, whatever it may be, starts to become AI, whether it's noticeable or not, when that happens, I think inherently humans are going to know, right? There are some things, it's hard to put a kind of pinpoint on it, but there are just some things like some intrinsic traits that AI will not be able to replace. And people are going to pick up on that. And I think over time, the desire or need or want for a personal connection and a personal community is going to increase when the majority of stuff just isn't real anymore, right? Now, I think also that real coaches will stand out amongst lazy coaches. Real coaches that have been in the trenches, they've done the work, they've got the experience, are going to stand out amongst those who rely heavily on creating everything with AI. So what I like to say is use AI like scaffolding, a structural advantage that helps you to move faster, okay? So it's not something that you're replacing your brain with. It's like an assistant that enables you to move faster, more efficiently, and could also add to maybe like give you different perspectives, right? Challenge your thought processes. So what you shouldn't do is outsource your entire creative brain to AI. Pretty simple, right? To kind of touch base on that a second ago. You also don't want to automate the parts of your business that matter. Like, I don't know, for me personally, people may think differently, but I don't think you should be trying to clone yourself with AI. Like, no matter how much it sounds and looks like you, in my brain, it just doesn't add up. And I could be missing the point. You could disagree with me. It could be saving people time. But I think that if you truly, truly want to attract clients that align with you, your message, your values, your philosophies, and you want to enjoy working with those people, I think if you start to replace your main asset, which is how you show up online, with artificial intelligence, I just don't think it's going to work out in the long run. And I could be missing something, but for me personally, I think a personal brand should remain personal. And it's oddly strange that the word personal is in personal brand, and we're even talking about this subject and what this industry has come to right now. But in my opinion, I don't think you should automate the parts of your business that matter. You know, in-depth, meaningful conversations with prospects, clients, content, ICPs, you name it. Again, you shouldn't allow AI to create your ICP or messaging. If it doesn't feel real to you, if it doesn't relate to your experience, your unique skill sets, like, I just don't think you're really going to create the type of audience that you truly want. And also, I don't even know if the audience will truly resonate, right? And it will certainly become saturated because, like I said, a lot of people are doing this because they see it as a shortcut, right? And I also don't think that automation is the goal. A lot of people look at AI as this solution to automate their business, save a bunch of time. I think there's a little bit of truth in that. Like I said, it should be the creative assistant that helps you in certain areas to amplify you, not to replace you. And I don't think automation is the goal. I don't think people should be thinking, how do I automate this, and this, and get and step out of it? Especially, I'm talking about coaches, right? I'm talking about real people. There are some businesses where automation makes complete sense. I'm not disagreeing with that. So what to do instead? You should use AI as a creative co-pilot. Infuse everything with your lived experiences, things that you've actually done, going back to you, your unique personality, your unique experiences, your unique skill sets, tying it back into real life experiences, and put personality first and automation last. Like I said, like, I could be wrong. I could be predicting this in the wrong way, but I do genuinely feel like the more people use AI, the more everything starts to sound, look the same. And that actually creates an opportunity. In the short term, it might seem like people move faster with the help of AI. But actually, I think eventually, like, we're going to crave or look up to those individuals who have stood the test of time, stayed true to themselves, and they are just continuing to do them and remain personal, remain human. And you also need to show up in ways that AI can't, okay? Show up on lives, show up live on stories. And I also like to add a personal element to it when interacting with prospects or clients, like sending video DMs. You know, not trying to create an AI system that comes into your DMs and has conversations with people and this, that, and the other. That's it for today, guys. Super simple video. Just wanted to share my thoughts on this. And if you have any questions whatsoever, or you want to connect with me on Instagram, go in the description below. I respond to all of my messages with in-depth voice notes. So yeah, come connect with me on Instagram, and I'll see you on the next one.